Well, if you know that sound, you might know where I am, ladies and gentlemen. I am back at the Junkyard. Today I'm at the LKQ in Mount Airy to start. I'm looking for a few parts. Hopefully we can find them. Hopefully they're still here. And yeah, my name is Jason. This is Mohawk Motors. Let's get to it. Well, maybe today's gonna be my lucky day, because right out of the gate, one of the things that I'm here to get is here, available, unmolested from the looks of it. I should be able to get it pulled out. Guess what it is? That's right, a two-wheel drive 4L80E. I've been on the lookout for one of these for a while. Seems like every time I come, somebody's already dropped them out of the trucks, pulled the transmission pin off, I guess to take solenoids or the valve body or whatever else out of it, and then left it upside down in the dirt to get all full of rain and water and whatever else that you don't want in a transmission. So I really haven't even walked through the yard yet, but I've been looking for one of these. I already have a use planned for it. I want to make sure that this one doesn't get away from me, so I'm gonna pull this thing out real quick. You've seen me pull transmissions. I don't need to tell you how to do it. It's not going to be real quick. It'll probably take me half hour or so, but it's a 1998 3500 van, which indicates that it'll have the second design for L80E with rear cooling, which is the better design. That's what I want. And I'm gonna go through it before I install it anyway, so I really just need it as a core. So let's pull it. On second thought, being a 98, it will not have the tippy top bell housing bolt. So there's a couple other later model vans in here that should also have a 4L80E in them, hopefully unmolested. So I'll see if one of those still have it, because I'm gonna be bolting this up to an LS engine. I'd really like to have that top bolt if possible. So let's do a lap around first and see what there is. If there's not another one, we'll grab this one, just because I can always swap the case. So let's go. Man, maybe it really is my lucky day, because I didn't even walk 100 feet and I found something else that I'm here looking for specifically to get today. And somebody already did part of the work to get them out for me. So we have this is a 2004 Yukon Denali, and I need some parts from this to make a brake upgrade. And specifically what I need is the backing plate for the disc brake and parking brake assembly. So somebody's already taken it part way apart. I want to get this out, get the caliper bracket off, get the rotor off, and then get the axle shafts pulled so I can get the parking brake assembly out of the back of there. So pumped about that too. There was I wasn't sure it would be here. Most people probably aren't willing to do that amount of work in the junkyard for some parts, but I can't find them available new anywhere. And this thing looks pretty not rusty and crusty, so hopefully they're in good shape. All right, well, my luck has already run out. I got the caliper off, pulled the cover to remove the center pin so I could get the axle shaft out. And that center pin won't budge. It's rounded off. Somebody already effed it. So there's an Escalade further up the road that should have what I need. I'm gonna go see if I can maybe get that apart. All right, well, this Escalade has the parts I need as well. A little backing plate here. So I'll have to see if the center pin will come out of this rear diff. But look, somebody started pulling the engine and then gave up. Maybe they got this far and realized it was locked up or something. I don't know. So there's an LQ9 if you need an LQ9. I'm not in the mood to pull an engine today. I'm gonna try to get these brake parts off. Success! Got my two little caliper brackets. These are, I think I mentioned, I'm going to be using these to do a rear brake upgrade on the blue single cab short bed that I V8 swapped. So the big difference here is, one, these are for disc brakes. It currently has drum brakes. 2, this has the correct spacing for the larger caliper bracket to hold the dual piston rear caliper. And I'll give you more details when I actually do that swap, but it's a pretty legitimate swap. It's a substantial upgrade, and you can get the parts from the junkyard. I am gonna replace the parking brake shoes, get new rotors, and new piston, new calipers, and new pads. But those brackets, I can't find them anywhere new, and even if you can, it's just a bare bracket, and then to find all the other little pieces that you need also, like, it's just, it was easier to get them from the junkyard. So moving along, I did notice on my way here there's another 98 3500 two-wheel drive with a 4L80E in it. Unfortunately, also the one that doesn't have the tip-top bell housing bolt, but also a good candidate to get if we can't find one of the better ones. So keep looking. One gone already. This 2006 2500 van would have had the 4L80 in it that I want, but somebody already got it. Whew. Engine's still in there though. What did this thing have? 4.8. No wonder the engine's still in it. Nobody ever wants the 4.8s. I think there's a couple other vans around here. I'm gonna check and see. If none of them have what I'm after, then I'll probably go pull one, either probably out of that truck. It looked like it had a little more room under it to work. All right, guys, got one. Got a 2003 3500 van. This one still has the 6-liter and the 4L80 in it. I don't need any more 6 liters, but I definitely want this 4L80. And it's not super stable. Somebody's already been jacking around back here, so I think I'm going to use the jack that they left for me and try to get this thing supported a little bit better, so I feel a little safer being under it, and then I'll work on getting that daggone transmission out of it. All right, guys, now I feel much better. This thing, that's not going anywhere. Got 4 stands under it, and I'm gonna push test. It hardly budges. I think the only wobble is coming from the backs where they're on the leaf springs. So I feel confident, I feel safe. Now I'm gonna go under and get this transmission out. I'm just gonna pull the cross member, pull the bell housing bolts, and then out it goes, because I don't need the converter. I really just need the transmission itself. Ta-da! Woo! Man, I'll tell you, team, the van 4L80 is even easier to pull than a pickup, 2-wheel drive pickup 4L80. That was not difficult. So it's out. I gotta organize and get it loaded on the cart, and then I want to do a little bit more looking around. There's, according to the online inventory, there's a Trailblazer that should have an LH6 with either 243 or 799 heads on it. I might grab those. There's also, I think, a 2005 Silverado with an L33 in it. I'm gonna go look. If that engine looks mostly intact still, I'm gonna leave it be. If people have already taken stuff off of it, I'm gonna take the heads off of that. And then I think that's gonna be it for this yard. I may go to another yard this afternoon to see about some other parts. Oh, well, team. I think I might be making some unplanned purchases today. I was just walking up the yard here to see what else is out here, and I stumbled across this. It's a 2008 3500 Express. Now, I came to look inside to see if the transmission was still in it, which it is. So there's another late model two-wheel drive 4L80, which it's taken me so long to find them. I feel like I gotta get it while the getting's good. So there's that, and then it has the LY6 6-liter engine that somebody has already done the work of pulling one head off of. The intake is already off, the valley cover is unbolted, the other head is there. So I don't think I can just leave that stuff here. Like, somebody already did most of the work for me. I see all the push rods and rocker arms there also, so I guess I'm making some impulse buys. It's just too easy to pull the transmission, and it's going to be too easy to pull this other rectangle port head. These are what's the number on these? 5364. Yeah, 5364 rectangle port heads. I'll probably look them up real quick just to see, do they flow well? Are they junk? But I mean, I'm pretty confident that rectangle port heads as a rule are an upgrade over cathedral ports. I could be wrong. Comment down below if I've been misled. So I'm gonna look them up. I'm gonna pull this stuff off. I'm gonna take it with me. You can't leave it here. Somebody's already done most of the work for me. So woohoo! Check this out. I'm working on getting the exhaust or the head pulled off on this side, and I just happened to glance back behind the van, and what do I see? There's the intake manifold. Nice rectangle port intake manifold. And I saw the rest of the intake manifold bolts sitting in there on the floor pan. So yeah, definitely gonna grab that also. They did all the work. Too easy. I might have to make 2 trips with the wagon. Whew. It's gotten warm out, team, and I did get all these parts pulled out that I wanted, so I'm gonna have to tidy up, organize a little bit here so I can fit everything on the cart. But I've got the 2 cylinder heads, rectangle port heads. I got them, you know, everything, rocker arms, push rods, the whole deal, all there. So those, I've got the intake manifold. I needed an exhaust manifold gasket, so I got that. Now this is a non-DOD valley cover plate for a Gen 4, so I'll take that, because there's something, I have a project coming up that has DOD, and I want to delete the DOD, both to learn and to see what kind of, how difficult it is. I've got the 2-wheel drive 4L80 from the white van. And I've got the 2-wheel drive 4L80 from this van. And I think that's all I'm getting from this yard. I'm gonna double check my list, but I'm pretty sure that was, I mean, that's all I really wanted, and then some from this yard. So I'm gonna clean up, make sure I have all my tools, check my list, get the cart organized so I can actually get all this stuff to the front, and then if I'm still looking for more stuff, I'll bring you back. If not, then I'll tell you how much it cost. All right, everybody. So I did get everything loaded up, and I did give this intake manifold a real thorough looking over, just to make sure it didn't have any cracks or damage on any of the sealing surfaces or anything like that. Because after all, somebody did take it off and then throw it on the ground. But I really think whoever took this truck apart, they were after the lifters. There's, like, I was able to find everything else for the heads, everything for the intake, except for one intake manifold bolt is missing. But that's not a big deal. But the only thing I can see that was missing is some of the lifters are missing. Not to mention they pulled the trays out, blah, blah, blah. So I suspect they were after the lifters in this thing. Maybe they had a noisy one and had more time than sense, I guess. But yeah, now I just gotta schlep this thing, this heavy wagon, way. way up there. I did check my list. I got all the important stuff that was on my list, so it's time to make my way to the front. I thought I'd show you guys this on my way out. This is all that's left of that 2005 Silverado that had an L33 in it that I saw in the online inventory. We got the engine out of it, the transfer case, drive shafts, bunch of the interior, the bed. Like, there's not much left of this thing. They took pretty much all of it. But they did very graciously leave me some exhaust manifold gaskets. Whoop! Gotta love parts you pick up off the ground. All right, everybody. Man, I gotta tell you, the old Junkyard cart, she put in work, but man, this thing hauls, guys. Between the two transmissions, the cylinder heads, intake manifold, my tools, the brackets, I mean, we gotta be pushing 2, 4, gotta be close to 500, maybe 600 pounds in this thing. Handled it like a champ. Let's look at what we paid here. So the transmissions, they charge you for a transmission with a converter even if you don't take the converter, which is lame. But transmissions, $295 each, which I don't know what you've looked at the price of 4L80E cores, especially two-wheel drive 4L80E cores recently. I mean, in my area looking around, people want $500 or $600 for a two-wheel drive 4L80 that they don't know anything about. So I'd much rather come pull it out of the junkyard myself. At least then I know what it was in, and I can get a look at the fluid that's in it and get an idea of the general condition of the vehicle, if it was maintained or just beaten and abused. So I'm totally fine with, you know, $295 for those transmissions, $295 each. The cylinder heads were let's see, $107 with, and that includes the $12 core fee. The transmissions included a $30 core fee. So I mean, I think that's pretty cheap for those two cylinder heads. Those are good heads, and I got them with everything in them: rocker arms, push rods, valve cover, the whole deal. So totally, I think that's very fair. They charged me for my little brake caliper mounting brackets, $12.50 each with a $1 core, so $13.50 each. I'm sure I probably couldn't buy them for that cheap, so happy with that. The intake manifold, $47.50 with a $4 core, so $51.50 total for that intake manifold. That's one of the best performing intake manifolds available for an LS engine, and you can't buy it that cheap anywhere else. They did charge me separate for the throttle body, $50.99. That includes the $5 core, but same, it's a $50 throttle body. Altogether, that intake manifold was like $102. Totally fine with that. And then I got 3 exhaust manifold gaskets, best gaskets you can get. Charged me $1.99 each for those, so $6. Totally fine to pay that. And he told me not to worry about the couple cooling hoses I got. He told me not to worry about the valley cover because he didn't know how to look it up in the thing. So I'm really happy with that. I mean, grand total was $1,065, but this is all, I couldn't have gotten it for that price anywhere else. I've heard a lot of people saying that like LKQ's prices are getting pretty absurd. I gotta tell you, I think it depends on which one you go to. There LKQ's buying up all the little mom and pop junkyards like this and imposing their prices, but I think some of them choose to not really follow those or to work the system in a way that they can give you a better deal, because like I said, this was a bargain. I couldn't have gotten this stuff anywhere else for anywhere close to this price. Really, to buy the 2 transmissions would have been $1,000 in the private market, Facebook Marketplace or online or wherever else. So I'm totally happy with that. I'm gonna get everything loaded up in the truck here, drink some water. I chugged the liter of water I had, and then see if I can't fit everything in the back of this bed. It's a pretty truck, but it's still a work truck. Let's go, team. Well, team, I'm back. The truck is unloaded. The tools are put away. Here's my haul from the day. Rectangle port intake manifold, non-DOD valley cover with a few spare exhaust manifold gaskets, some hoses, some spring clamps, the disc brake backing plate brackets, a pair of rectangle port heads, and a pair of 2-wheel drive 4L80 transmissions. Very excited about this. I've been hunting a 4L80 transmission at the junkyard. If you've been watching my junkyard videos, you know, like, I've seen a bunch of them, but they're always taken apart upside down in the mud, which I don't mind if they're upside down in the mud, but not if they're already taken apart. So I'm very excited to have those. I've got plans for sure for one of them. I think I mentioned that's eventually going to end up in the blue single cab short bed that I L33 swapped. And the other one, I don't have a specific plan for yet. I have an idea of something else I want to do, but I gotta get some other projects done before then. So that's it for this video, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed. You know, get out there and check your local junkyards. You never know what might be laying there already taken apart and ready for you to bring home. Till the next time, everybody, take care.